Ever wonder how every single website you visit, from your social media feed to your favorite online store, is actually built? Well, they all start with a secret blueprint, and today we're going to decode it. Let's dive in.
Seriously, think about it for a second. You click a link and poof, a beautiful interactive website just appears on your screen. But what's really going on behind the scenes? How does your browser know what to show you and where to put everything? That's the puzzle we're going to solve right now.
So, to really get how websites are made, we first have to pull back the curtain on how they work. And I promise, it's less like magic and a lot more like a really well-organized construction project.
Okay, so the part of the website you actually see and click on, what the pros call the front end, it's basically a team effort. It's built using a team of 3 core technologies, and each one has a very, very specific job to do.
You know, the absolute best way to think about these 3 technologies is to imagine you're building a house. It's a simple analogy, I know, but trust me, it's super powerful for understanding how all of this stuff works together.
All right, here's the breakdown. First, you've got HTML. That's the structure of your house. It's the foundation, the walls, the rooms, the roof, the bare-bones skeleton. Then comes CSS. Think of CSS as your interior designer. It's all the fun stuff, right? The paint color, the furniture, the whole look and feel of the place. And finally, there's JavaScript. So what does that do? Well, that's the electricity and the plumbing. It's what makes the house actually work. When you flip a light switch and the lights come on, yep, that's JavaScript.
And here's the thing. You can't start painting the walls if you don't have any walls to begin with. You can't install plumbing if there's no kitchen. That's why today we're going to focus only on that absolute foundation, the blueprint of our digital house, HTML. So let's grab our hard hats, zoom in on those architectural plans, and see what this stuff is really made of.
HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Now that sounds super technical, but don't worry about the name. Its only job is to define the structure and the layout. It's the language that tells a web browser, hey, this chunk of text is a headline, or this here is a paragraph, or this needs to be an image. It's all about the structure, not the style.
And what's really cool is that every single web page, no matter how slick or modern it looks, has this simple text-based blueprint running in the background. And the best part? You can see it for yourself on any site you want.
No, I'm serious. Go ahead and try it right now. Go to any web page, right-click your mouse, and look for an option that says something like View Page Source. What you'll see is the raw HTML code that your browser is reading to build the page. It's not some big secret. It's the open blueprint of the web. Now, I know what you're thinking. That source code can look a little intimidating, kind of like a wall of confusing text and symbols. But don't worry, it's actually built from just a handful of very simple, repeatable components.
And the most fundamental building blocks of HTML, the actual bricks we use to build our digital house, are called tags.
So what is a tag? Well, think of it like a container, like a labeled box. The label on that box tells the browser exactly what's inside, whether it's a heading, a paragraph of text, or an image, so it knows exactly how to display it.
And here's the anatomy of a tag. It's basically a content sandwich. You have an opening tag, like H1. That's your first slice of bread. It tells the browser, hey, a big heading starts right here. Then comes the actual content, the filling of your sandwich. And then you close it off with a closing tag, H1, which is your other slice of bread. It just tells the browser, okay, the heading ends here. Almost every single thing on a web page is built this way.
And that's really the big secret. The entire structure of a web page is just a combination of these simple open and close tags, nested inside one another to build out the whole page.
So the theory is cool and all, but how hard is it to actually build a web page in real life? Well, it's probably a lot easier than you think. Let's see what it takes. So you could technically write HTML in a basic program like Notepad, but most developers use a special code editor like VS Code. And why is that? Because it helps you out. It does things like color code your tags so they're easy to read, and it even auto-completes them for you, which just makes the whole process faster and way less frustrating.
Okay, get this. This single line of code you see here, this is a complete, totally valid web page. I'm not kidding. If you save a text file with just this one line and call it index.html, you can open it in your browser and it will pop up and say hello world as a big headline. That's it.
And just like that, with one simple line of code, you've used an HTML tag to give your content some structure. You've officially laid the foundation and put up the first wall of your very first digital house.
So, the structure is there. The blueprint is complete. Our digital house is framed, but it's a little empty, right? The real question is, how are you going to decorate it? How do you add the paint, the furniture, and all the style that makes it unique? Well, that is a story for another time. Thanks for joining The Explainer.